Have you ever noticed how people at work are no longer chasing promotions or staying late to prove themselves? Instead, they're doing just enough. No extra hours, no unpaid overtime, number 24/7's hustle. This is what people are calling quiet quitting, but here's the truth. It's not about laziness. It's a deep psychological shift in how we view work, success, and even happiness. If you understand why it's happening, you'll understand the future of work and maybe even a little more about yourself. Stick around because we're diving deep into the psychology behind this global movement. So, first things first, what exactly is quiet quitting? Let's clear up some confusion. It isn't about storming into your boss's office and dramatically quitting your job. It's much more subtle. Quiet quitting is about quitting the mindset that your job has to define your entire life. It means showing up, doing your job, doing it well, but also setting firm boundaries. No more sacrificing weekends for a project that could wait until Monday. No more answering emails at 11 p.m. In short, it's a wave of people collectively saying, work is a part of my life, not my whole life. It's about fulfilling your job description, but reclaiming your personal time. So why did this happen all of a sudden? It feels like one day no one had heard of it, and the next it was everywhere. Well, psychologists and sociologists point to three big reasons, and it's a perfect storm of factors. First, the burnout crisis. This isn't just a feeling, it's a documented phenomenon. During the pandemic, global surveys showed record high levels of burnout across nearly every industry. The pressure, the uncertainty, the blurred lines between home and office all took a massive toll. In fact, the World Health Organization officially classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon, a workplace syndrome resulting from chronic stress that hasn't been successfully managed. People hit a wall. They realized that the endless hustle, the rise and grind culture, wasn't leading to fulfillment. It was leading to pure, crippling exhaustion. Second, what experts are calling the Great Reevaluation. The global pause forced millions of people to stop and think about what truly matters. When faced with a global health crisis, the daily grind of the office suddenly seemed less important. People started reprioritizing their lives. Health, family, friends, mental well-being, these things shot to the top of the list. Work, which had for so long been positioned as the ultimate priority, got demoted. The question shifted from how can I climb the ladder to how can I live a good life? That reevaluation was a massive catalyst for change. At third, there's a major generational shift happening. Younger generations, particularly Gen Z and Millennials, have a fundamentally different relationship with work compared to their parents or grandparents. They value balance, freedom, and meaning far more than simply climbing the corporate ladder. Countless studies show that Gen Z, for example, would rather earn less money if it means having more flexibility and a better work-life balance. They saw their parents sacrifice everything for a company, only to be laid off or end up unfulfilled. They're not willing to make that same trade. So when you put it all together, widespread burnout, societal reevaluation of priorities, and a new generation entering the workforce with different values, quiet quitting isn't just a trend. It's a logical, almost inevitable consequence. It's not laziness, it's self-preservation. Let's get into the really fascinating part, the psychology behind it. What's actually going on in our brains that makes quiet quitting so appealing? There are a few core psychological principles at play here. First is a major shift in motivation. For decades, the workplace has run on extrinsic motivation. That means motivating people with external rewards, a bigger paycheck, a fancier job title, a corner office, a bonus. These things work, but only to a point. What we're seeing now is a massive pivot towards intrinsic motivation. This is the drive that comes from within. Things like having autonomy, feeling a sense of purpose, personal growth, and having the freedom and time to pursue hobbies and relationships. Quiet quitters aren't saying they don't want money. They're saying money alone isn't enough. They want to be motivated by things that feed their soul, not just their bank account. Time, freedom, and personal projects are becoming the new currency. The second psychological element is the connection between boundaries and mental health. This is backed by a ton of research. Studies consistently show that workers who have strong, clear work-life boundaries report lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. They also, paradoxically, have better long-term performance because they're not constantly running on empty. When you're always on, your nervous system is in a constant state of low-grade fight or flight. Setting boundaries like turning off notifications after 6 p.m. allows your brain and body to actually rest and recover. Quiet quitting is, in many ways, a mental health strategy. It's a way of saying my well-being is not negotiable. Finally, and this is the big one, we're seeing a collective redefinition of success. The old model of success was linear. You work hard, get promoted, make more money, buy more things, and that equals a successful life. But that definition is crumbling. For a growing number of people, success now looks like having a balanced life. It looks like being healthy, having strong relationships, and feeling a sense of fulfillment both in and out of the office. Success is being redefined as overall well-being. So when you look at it through this lens, quiet quitting isn't about rejecting work at all. It's about rejecting a toxic work culture that demands you sacrifice your life for a job. It's a push for a healthier, more sustainable way to work. So after hearing all this, you might be watching and wondering, is this something I should do? Should I quiet quit too? And that's a fair question. But here's the key insight that I want you to take away. Quiet quitting, when done right, isn't about doing less work or slacking off. It's about doing your work smarter, not harder. It's about being intentional and choosing where your precious energy goes. Instead of just defaulting to yes for every extra task, start asking yourself a few critical questions. First, am I working towards my own goals, or am I only working towards someone else's? Is this extra project helping me grow in a way that I value, or is it just another item on my boss's checklist? Second, am I trading my health and happiness for a paycheck? Are the long hours and constant stress really worth the salary? Or is there a way to do my job well without sacrificing my well-being? And third, what would real balance actually look like in my life? Don't just think about it in abstract terms. Visualize it. Would it mean logging off at 5 p.m. sharp every day? Not checking emails on the weekend? Taking your full lunch break away from your desk? Because here's the most powerful truth about this whole movement. When you set clear boundaries and protect your time, you often become more focused and productive during the hours you are working. You're not drained and distracted. You're present. You do your work efficiently because you know you have a life to get back to. This isn't about being a difficult employee. It's about being a sustainable one. It's about building a career that supports your life instead of a life that just supports your career. So the real question isn't whether you should quiet quit, but rather how you can start working in a way that truly serves you. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the new psychology of work. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that helps you navigate the modern world. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you noticed this shift at your workplace? Let's continue the conversation.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.